Amen. Apostolic Men's Network, English version, believes in Hebrews 5:11. Strong meat for men of full age. Biblical issues of the day. Tackled by the Amen, namely, Bro Cheeto Custodia, author, Bro Paul Cruz, contributor, and Bro Erik Miciano, contributor. Via Zoom meeting, Bro Cheeto's room. Conducted every Monday 7 o'clock to 9 p.m. Pacific Time, California, USA. Every Tuesday 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Philippines.
The topic for this episode is divorce and remarriage from biblical perspective. Introducing to you the resource person to present the topic is Bro Erik Miciano. He presented to Amen his position regarding this matter in view of Matthew 19 verse 9 and other similar verses somewhere in the Holy Bible. He explored all the ramifications of the issues at hand from his biblical perspective and understanding.
Matthew 19 verse 9 states, "And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery." Bro Erik interpreted this passage in the Holy Bible as pertaining to both the man and the wife, that both are committing adultery. If any remarry after their divorce, even if arisen from fornication or adultery of the wife. He cited Luke 16 verse 18 and Mark 10 verses 11 and 12. For support of his position. So this is a very strict interpretation, that is, no exception. Luke 16 verse 18 states, "Whosoever puts away his wife, and marries another, commits adultery, and whosoever marries her that is put away from her husband commits adultery." Mark 10 verse 11 states, "And he said unto them, Whosoever shall put away his wife, and marry another, commits adultery against her." Mark 10 verse 12 states, "And if a woman shall put away her husband, and be married to another, she commits adultery." Bro Cheeto Custodia interprets this passage as the prevention to remarry in case of fornication or adultery of the wife is not applicable to the husband. Precisely, Jesus accepted only one acceptable reason for a man to be able to remarry another woman who is free is when he puts away his first wife because of the infidelity of the wife. If there was no exception, then neither can marry again legally. Author's diagram on laws on marriage, divorce and remarriage. When God created Adam and Eve, they became one flesh. No one can ever put their union asunder. They cannot be separated. Only death of either frees the other party to remarry. This is God's original principle on marriage. Under the law of Moses on divorce and remarriage, man can divorce her wife under any circumstance. After a divorce, either can remarry. If the divorced wife remarries and subsequently her second husband dies or divorces her, she can legally marry a third husband. If the third husband divorces her or dies, she cannot remarry her first husband. It is an abomination to the Lord. Under the law of Christ, the general rule is that if a man divorces her wife or vice versa, neither of them can remarry. If any one of them remarries, he or she commits adultery. An exception to the general rule is this: if a man divorces her wife or vice versa, and the reason for the divorce is fornication or adultery of either, the aggrieved party can remarry legally, the one guilty of fornication or adultery. If remarries commits another adultery. Since the law of Moses had been abrogated by the law of Christ, moral laws of the Ten Commandments remain but already in our hearts. And they have been fulfilled by Jesus Christ. Ceremonial laws, about the temple matters, and civil laws, such as marriage and divorce, had already been disannulled. The words of Jesus Christ in the Gospels now stand as law on marriage, divorce and remarriage. Discussions. Freewheeling. Bro Cheeto stated. Let us explore the OT laws divorce. Deuteronomy 24 verses 1 to 4 details what makes a wife unclean. Numbers 5 verses 11 to 31 show passages about uncleanness of wife her lying with another man not his husband. This matter became a discourse between Jesus and his disciples. Another parallel verses to Matt 19 verse 9 are Matt 5 verses 31 to 32. It hath been said, Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever put away his wife saving for cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. Meaning, the act of divorce for no reason or for other reasons shall be a sin on the part of the husband. If he remarries after that, then he commits another sin, which is adultery. Discussions. Freewheeling. Bro Paul added his opinion that the divorce law being not in effect in the Philippines, he pointed out that this matter should be respected as divorce is not permitted under the present Philippine law on marriage. In this case, therefore, the marriage of a man and a woman is indissoluble, both are married for life. Only death of either husband or wife can free the other surviving spouse to remarry. There are other aspects of marriage, such as separation, annulment of marriage, that were not discussed. Conclusion. By author Bro Cheeto Custodia only. Since there was no convergence of ideas, perspectives, and opinions, the author is now making his own conclusion only. The underlying principle of marriage is aptly put on Matthew 19 verse 6 and Mark 10, verse 9. What God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. Why then did Moses command to give a writing of divorcement, and to put her away? It's because of the hardness of their hearts. But from the beginning it was not so. Matt 19 verses 7 to 9. The woman which has a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he lives. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed. If she remarries while the husband is alive, she is an adulteress. If husband is dead, she is no adulteress and therefore free to be married to another man. Rom 7 verses 2 and 3. The man can only be allowed to divorce his wife for reason of wife's fornication, or adultery, Matt 19 verse 9. And can remarry another free woman. Otherwise he also commits adultery, likewise the wife. The general rule, no exception, is supported by Mark 10, verses 11 and 12 and Luke 16, verse 18. Matthew 19 verse 9 and Matthew 5 verse 32 spell out the exceptions. Conclusion. By author Bro Cheeto Custodia only, Part 2. The author's position is that of Matt 19 verse 9 and Matt 5 verse 32, where there is an exception, that is, a man divorces his wife for fornication, he can remarry a free woman. But the divorced wife, if she remarries, she commits adultery. It is the understanding of the author that Mark 10 verse 11 and 12 and Luke 16 verse 18 follow the general rule, that when a man divorces his wife for any reason, and remarries, commits adultery. The divorced wife, if she remarries, also commits adultery. So the author views the two sets of verses as not conflicting verses against each other, but one set state the general rule and the other set of verses are for the exception. Here therefore is the crux of the matter. In order to be able to biblically judge a marriage, divorce, or remarriage as adulterous or not, the underlying reasons for the marriage/divorce/remarriage must be known beforehand in order to officiate a marriage or remarriage. Very importantly, by pastors who have the authority and responsibility to officiate a proper marriage, meaning free of errors. The author expresses his gratitude to Bro Paul and Bro Erik for their biblical perspectives and discussions. Without their inputs, the presentation would have fallen short of expectations. He further expresses his thanks for their time and effort put forth in this endeavor. These are the Amen team participants. Bro Cheeto Custodia, the author. Bro Paul Cruz, Contributing participant. Bro Erik Miciano, contribution participant. Never mind the man on the far right end. He is a fictional character, Mr. B, our mascot. Just kidding, of course. Ha 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 ha. Amen would like to say. Thank you very much for watching our video on marriage, divorce, and remarriage. Biblical point of view. Please also click like and subscribe to help us grow our video creations. On Facebook page, Oscar Custodia. And YouTube channel Rapture Prepper. Maraming salamat po. Pagpalan ko ng Panginoon. Palam po. Sa muling pagkakita natin. Baba you.